We are back. Bitcoin is back. The market is back. And we're starting to see some positivity return to the market. I've just seen some on-chain metrics which show record levels of profitability in this market right now. It's also shared with me some warning points which I have to share with you. We've also got an important update from Andre Cronje for Phantom, which has also been skyrocketing over the last couple of days. That and a lot more. Make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the links in the description. And let's get straight into this one. Bitcoin is reattempting a second attack here, back at the 23,400 level. We're sitting at around 22,800. You can see we came back down. I was expecting a retest all the way at the top of the channel at 22,000, but you can see Bitcoin show relative strength, only needing to retrace down to 22,300. So we're seeing a nice move here on Bitcoin. And what I want to see here now, we've had this move. We didn't need to come all the way down. Fine. We're back to where we're at. Can we now see this go and break this peak? That's the key here. What we do not want to see, what would be a warning flag for me, is if we get a lower high, okay? We don't want lower highs. That's going to suggest we're going to fall off of our trend. So very important now on this next impulse move, we need to see an extended move above 23,300 for this move to stay alive, okay? Very, very important that we see that. Now, interestingly, I've seen some really interesting on-chain metrics which I want to fly through with you guys. The first one is the mining difficulty. Mining difficulty is continuing to increase. We're seeing the mean hash rate continue to increase. Good health in the Bitcoin network. But more importantly, it's this. This is what I want to share with you. And this is the supply profitability cycle. And what I want to focus on here is, if you look there where I've just moved my picture, 12% in the last 14 days. So the percentage supply and profit has rocketed by 12% in just the last 14 days. That's insane. It's gone 55% to 67% in just 2 weeks. This is bigger than previous cycles. Okay, if you look at the previous cycle here, it was at 8.3% in 14 days. If you look at the one before that, 10% in 14 days. But what's more interesting is look at when these happen. They happen when you finally come out of this bottom discovery phase, the bear market, the red, and you get this massive spike before setting up your next run through into the bull bear transition. And then the green is obviously your peak euphoria, which is where you'll be looking to hopefully trim your profits and exit your position unless you want to hold all the way through the bear market. Same happened here, right? In the red zone, big delta increase where you see the percentage supply in profit increases sharply, and then you work your way out. Could this now be the signal that we've been waiting for to say, you know what, we're finished with the red and we're managing to work our way back to the upside? Also, let's take a look at this, which is your relative realized profit and loss. And what we can now see is we are back to profitable ways. If you look at some of the peak here of when we were really suffering last year, on any given day here, we suffered net realized P&L of minus 3.7% of the market cap of Bitcoin. That's huge. On the FTX crash, we had minus 2.9%. Finally, we're back. We're not quite in our nice controlled zone here of above 1% market cap positive, but we are positive 0.2%. So this is a good sign. Let's just pop me out of the way so you guys can see that very clearly. We are positive 0.2%. So we are no longer capitulating on these days and seeing horrible red realized losses every single day. Okay, so that's a good sign. Let's also take a look at this, which is your percent of short-term holder supply in profit. And you're now seeing that the short-term holders are now entering an important period of profit where it's rotated green. Okay, so this very thin green line here, which you can barely see, this green line is just printed, shows that greater than 97.5% of short-term holders are in profit. When it's red, more than 97.5% are in loss. And they've just been through those periods, right? These red columns here are days where short-term holders, people who haven't been in the market for long, were in really painful losses. So this is one of the arguments some people are making to say, guys, be a little bit careful. And I buy into this as well. We have to remember that when you get these sudden moves in crypto, people have different incentives. Short-term holders have a great incentive to sell. They've been sat on a bag for a little bit. They don't really care about the long-term conviction of crypto, and they're going to have the incentive to sell now that 97.5% of them are in profit. Now, you can play devil's advocate and say, yeah, but if they've seen a little bit of profit, if they've seen the impact that Bitcoin can have, maybe they're going to hold, maybe they're going to buy more because they want to take part in the next bull run. And I agree. A percentage of those will convert into long-term holders of Bitcoin. That's the normal process. But sometimes people are just short-term holders. They'll wait till their bags even get break even, which is roughly where we're at now, and then they'll be looking to get out. So it's important that we keep an eye on that. The other party which is looking to sell is really important as well. And those are your miners. Remember, we covered off that miners need to sell their Bitcoin to fund their operations. Now we've seen how difficult of a time they had when Bitcoin was down at 15,500. They had to sell a lot of Bitcoin to fund their operations. They didn't have a choice. They got employees to pay. They got to pay for their mining equipment, their office space, and all the rest of it, right? The warehousing. It's a lot of expenses. So do not be surprised to see miners selling into some of this euphoric green as well. So all of this to say that we do have some pressure. So we can't be naive to just say this can just rocket all the way to the sky. There will be volatility from a macro perspective. There will be volatility from an on-chain perspective because some parties will not have the incentive to just hold throughout. There will be a percentage of selling that will happen into this strength, which makes it harder and harder for the pump to continue. That's the dilemma. Ignoring the short-term holders, let's focus on the long-term holders, because the long-term holders, those who were buying in 2021 or even before then, they've had 6.5 months where the MBRV score was less than 1. By the way, if you guys don't understand what all this means, all the on-chain metrics, let me know in the comments. Do you want me to do a course, a free course on-chain metrics? Speaking of which, my TA course is completely free. Head and shoulders pattern, inverse cup and handles pattern, all these things, ijaz.uk/TA. Take advantage of that. That is completely free. But if you want an on-chain metrics one, let me know. And that's something I can work on over the next couple of months and have up for you guys. So you understand what all these things mean, right? What is delta price? What is the Pearl multiple? What is the MVRV score? What are all these things, right? Let me know if you want that all in one place so you can have it for reference. So speaking of the MVRV, this is the difference between your realized cap and your market cap. So basically, when this is below 1, you are holding an unrealized loss. So for 6.5 months, this was below 1 here for the long-term holders. This is just looking at long-term holders. People have held their coin for a long period of time. Now, if you look historically, if I pop me out the way again, you can see historically, we were sitting at 0.63, which means you're sitting at a 37% loss. Here, we were down to a 33% loss, similar levels to the previous 2018, 2019 cycle, and you saw 5 months we were at that level. Then we finally rose out and we finally set ourselves up for the next run. Could we be doing the same here? Now, it's interesting that long-term holders are continuing to show strength. So whilst we saw that there's an incentive for short-term holders to sell, technically you can argue long-term holders will want to sell as well. But you need to understand their mindset is different. A long-term holder is there for a reason. They have long-term conviction. They want to hold Bitcoin because they believe in the narrative and they can see where it's going. So you're seeing here, the old supply, which is supply last active over 6 months, has continued to increase by another 300,000 Bitcoin, which is showing that long-term holders continue to build conviction and continue to believe in where we're going here. So the on-chain metrics are really, really insightful right now. Let's also take a look at what Andre Cronje is saying. So Andre Cronje tweeted out the following. He says, expectation management is important. I want to stress there will be no announcement or reveals. No, this is a reverse psychology. I'm serious. We aren't focused on announcements anymore. We simply discuss progress. And he actually, to his fairness, tweeted this back in December the 8th when he was booked onto Quanta Miami, which is a conference happening later this week in Miami. He says there's nothing going to be spoken about in terms of announcements. Now, why is he putting out this caveat? He's putting out this caveat because the price action on Phantom has gone absolutely berserk. It's gone crazy. You've doubled up your money on Phantom in the last couple of weeks, and it doesn't show any signs just yet of letting up. You've seen a little bit of red candle sticking since Andre Cronje tweeted, as expected, but degens are going to be degens. And I made a video yesterday to say, look, guys, this is fantastic. It's a nice move on Phantom. It's good it's getting the notoriety. It's good it's getting the attention. But please, 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 if you're only holding Phantom for the short term, if you're trading it, be very careful of buy the rumor, sell the news. Go watch my video yesterday. I go into detail exactly around what happened. But if you guys were around during the Phantom Developer Conference back in 2021, we covered that live day to day. And you saw how the price action rose a lot leading up to the conference and then dumped subsequently after. So guys, you know, if you're holding Phantom for the long-term basis like I am, fantastic. Enjoy it. If you're trading it, be very, very careful of buy the rumor, sell the news. Do not get caught up in that. Now, from a technical perspective, you can see Phantom rose here initially from 30 cents up all the way trying to break 40 cents. It got rejected from 40 cents, and we predicted yesterday that I think it will go test 38 cents. It did exactly that, retested 38 cents, tried to bounce back, but now you're seeing a weakening situation here, right? You're seeing, what are we seeing here, guys? you're seeing lower highs. So do not be surprised to expect this to start downtrending now, okay? The bias will suggest, look at the RSI as well. The RSI is trending to the downside. This is trending to the downside as well. This shows a little bit of weakness here, because normally what you'd expect is if this came down, go push on, right? Just like we said for Bitcoin, go create that higher high and keep going, but it's not. It's created a lower high, and you've got to be careful here now. Of course, Bitcoin will decide the direction for where this move goes, but you can see Bitcoin is doing the same thing here on this hourly. You're seeing lower highs here on Bitcoin. It's struggling to get that momentum to then push to the upside. Now, one thing you could be watching for is, could we just be creating a bullish continuation flag, which is where you can create a flag, something like this. I'm doing this very crudely, guys, but you can see the concept, right? You have a big extended move, you consolidate for a bit, maybe even come down here, go here, and then try to break out for your next extended move, head towards 24,000, okay? So for now, you can see in the immediate time frame, we are creating lower highs. RSI is ticking down, but this is a little bit of a pullback, maybe before a nicer, bigger move to the upside. Let's have a quick check-in on Fit and Greed. Sitting at 50, makes sense. Sitting bang in the middle. It's not crazy FOMO. There's no fear in the market right now. Let's check in on the US markets, and we see the Nasdaq is up 0.5. You've got the S&P 0.2 and the Dow Jones flat. Still, markets are a little bit confused. There's a big earnings week this week. We've got a few important macroeconomic catalysts as well. You've got PCE inflation on Friday at 1:30. We will be covering that off together on Thursday. You've got the initial jobless claims, and you've got the Q4 GDP figure, which is going to be an important reading as well. So 3 important readings on Thursday and Friday. We'll be covering those off. You've got a bunch of different companies producing earnings as well. So expect the markets to be a little bit choppy this week. If you appreciate this type of content, guys, smash some likes. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, check out the links in the description. Go check out the TA course, Ijaz.UK/TA, and I'll see you in the next one.